I bet it does. You put on a good show, but I don't buy it.
Yes, I admit I know nothing about Ahsoka Tano. I can still say I am fairly new to the Star Wars universe, and I got introduced to it through The Mandalorian. So I decided that when this show happened, I was gonna give it a go. Why not? It's not like all the shows are crashing and burning at this point, right? And the one show that they do have that was actually a success that everyone universally liked for the most part, they turned it into the Simple Olympics.
These are the reasons I serve you, Lady Kryze. Your song is not yet written. I will serve you until it is.
But here's the second chances. They start off with the sprawling text, and I get it, this was something that happened in the first movie. However, the difference between this and the first Star Wars movie that I watched, which is the only Star Wars movie I watched, is that that Star Wars movie showed character origin, character growth. Granted, I know people are gonna kill me, it wasn't the best movie ever, but we follow along the journey of Luke Skywalker when he starts, and we get to see him grow throughout the film. There is a hint of completion and closure. The movie is dated as hell, but I guess it's impressive for the time period it came out in, I think.
Please don't kill me.
But in the beginning, it lays out the groundwork of what you're to expect. You're thrust into the world, and they give you the general backstory to help you understand why you're following these characters and what world you're about to be thrust into. Thrust.
What the fuck is wrong with you fucking ass?
Not knowing anything about the character Ahsoka Tano, I figured they would at least give us some kind of backstory as to who she is, but that's not really what happens. But I figured it'd be okay because they kind of did the same thing with The Mandalorian, with the exception of The Mandalorian having the baby Grogu crutch. The writings in these shows are so strange. So this captain of the ship, he sees someone hailing them. His officers are telling him that it's a Jedi. I guess Jedi are like super nice. I guess there was never any history of Jedis turning evil or something. And right off the bat, I get annoyed because the characters do the most insane things, and I'm trying to rationalize it, and I know it's just a show, but it's so annoying when they write the characters like this on purpose. What are we, in a horror movie?
Captain, who are they?
I'm calling their bluff.
Blah, 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 yeah, blah.
Signal them to come aboard.
But the people are retarded.
Why? In what world does it make sense to find people who are questionable and you know they're full of shit, and you're like, let me let them on my ship anyway and put everybody's life in danger?
I want to meet these Jedi. Have security meet me in the hangar.
And this is the security he brings with him. And we all know the security in Star Wars is lacking, no matter where they come from, whether it's on the bad guy side or the good guy side. But I get it, there's 6 people and a freaking medicine pill robot thing, so he should be fine and he should feel safe. However, does it never occur to these people that they might have some kind of weaponry on their ship that packs a bit more oomph that could take out people? That's the same thing as seeing somebody in the parking lot and you know it's a questionable person, but you have your boys with you, so you let him in the car with you. Or you let that person in your house, which is essentially what the ship is acting as right now while they're on their journeys.
If you don't mind me saying, it's quite a surprise meeting Jedi out here.
So the mysterious cloaked person claims that their existence remains a mystery to most. Like I've said so many times, it's not like there's any Jedi out there that were ever evil, you know? Now this is the part that just really gets me. And this is the stupidity of the characters. That has me really wondering whether or not they think they're in a horror movie, because the actions just performed by someone who's supposed to have experience in these kind of things is just so bizarre.
You put on a good show, but I don't buy it.
I don't understand.
You're no Jedi. Just some overconfident Imperial trash who just pushed their luck too far.
That was stupid.
See what happens when you provoke people and fail to de-escalate the situation and make stupid decisions in the first place? Anyway, we're quickly introduced to Ahsoka Tano, and she's already badass. There's no lead up to it. And I get that these shows kind of take off from where they left off on another show, but I have said this before, and I'll say it again, it doesn't do Disney any favors or the Star Wars franchise any favors. If you're trying to bring in new people because you've already upset the hell out of the freaking fans, when you introduce these characters or continue on their stories or whatever for fan service, even though you don't give a shit about the fans, when you make the characters these gloomy carbon copies of the Mandalorian, and there's no real backstory to them. I kept wondering as I watched the first 2 episodes, because those were the only ones available at the time, what was missing out of this show? And lead like the ass on that alien. Like, good grief. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, bruh.
I'm straight.
I get it that the show is supposed to be about Ahsoka Tano, but she seems very uninteresting. At least she was kind of mysterious in The Mandalorian, and I wanted to know more about her, but here it just seems like she's freaking tired all the time. It's different with The Mandalorian because he was wearing a mask, and he came across as an NPC or a playable character that, you know, we would take control of to complete a mission. But when you can see Ahsoka's eyes, and the show's supposed to be about her, she's like the least interesting thing about her own show. At least in the first 2 episodes. Which is where you're supposed to hook people. And I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. The episodes are almost an hour long. Good grief. But I watched it in 20 minutes.
Nice!
Yes, each of them. That's how I was able to bear through all of this because, good God, the amount of dead space and drawn out scenes just so things could look pretty while the rest of the show was just eerily boring would have been maddening had I not been watching it at 3 times the speed. Look, I mean, she's like a living, freaking, breathing, 2-legged slug. If I had any interest in the Ahsoka Tano character before, this show kind of sort of killed it, and the only thing that managed to be kind of decent about this show is this character who is insanely annoying and has exactly the same character as Ahsoka, which is like, why? There's almost no chemistry between these two. They're too alike, they're both boring, and both very generic, which is the best word I can come up with for this show. And the weird armored knight character in the episode 2 that Ahsoka has to stay behind and fight. Wicked. I mean, come on. That is wallpaper right there, bro. I don't know what this character is, but holy crap, this thing looks freaking amazing. Like, if we had him or her or whatever, it as a main character, I'm more so interested in this thing than I am in Ahsoka. Why is the show even called Ahsoka? Most of the character development we even get, and any ounce of growth the development is from Sabine with the awful combination of dyed hair. I guess it's supposed to be a play on the Little Mermaid when she's like, oh no, that was today, I missed my ceremony. I mean, and The Lion King, and it just came off like somebody watched that and they were like, oh, it was a good idea to replicate those 2 scenes from those old movies.
Music! It's stuff! Oh, the concert! Oh my gosh, my father's gonna kill me! Concert was today?
Here's the next movie that they ripped this off from.
Sarabi and I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba.
That was today? Oh, I feel simply awful. Must have slipped my mind.
Is one of those rebel leaders, Commander Sabine Wren. Sabine Wren. Where is she?
I don't know, she was just here.
And just like Ariel, she's off doing her own thing and having fun. Look how badass I am with my red hair like Ariel. It's such a cringy CW scene of her trying to look cool that I was literally like holding my breath with how uncomfortable I felt. It was just so stupid. Like, what is this made for, 9-year-olds?
Governor Zadi's looking for you.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Well, you missing the ceremony.
Oh, that was today.
I just can't. Furthermore, the acting in this freaking show is just chef's kiss. It's immediately hard to relate to this character, and she's so unlikable. And what does help is that she has a pretty kitty. What in the world? This thing is supposed to look like a horror movie creature, but when you hear it make the same noise that your beautiful pets make, it's really hard to not like it.
Hey.
Daddy! I got the call! Oh my god! Oh, right there!
Anyway, these things emo people freed this witch woman. I guess they're witches in Star Wars. I always thought this was kind of like space opera type thing, so I never imagined that witchcraft would be in it. I guess it's still sci-fi, it's sci-fantasy, right? So science fiction, anything goes, but I just never imagined that. That's not something I ever heard of being a thing. So I was a little bit jarred, but also just weirded out by it. But I guess there's that sexy helmet thing again. I really like that thing, man. I wish this was the main character and the freaking show's just called Helmet. Or maybe not. That sounds stupid.
Just stop talking.
This girl that always looks like she's side-eyeing everything in sight is at least more interesting than Ahsoka Tano herself. Do with that as you will. The point of the matter is I'm more interested in these cartoonish bad guys and this brat with the conflicting hair color than Ahsoka Tano herself. Even though Ahsoka Tano is at the surface and the forefront of the show, sort of, technically, it feels like she's only there to further the plot for this character, who's actually the true main character. Even though this character is stoic as well, she still manages to be more interesting than Ahsoka, who is as interesting as watching paint has dried. You know what? Anyway, the point of the matter is, Ahsoka is boring. She's supposed to be mysterious, but this is her story. We're supposed to be getting things from her point of view, which we kind of do, but she's like the worst thing about the show. And you know she is, because I don't really care what happens to Ahsoka, but when Sabine, in the end of episode 1, has a lightsaber go through her, I'm like, no! I was just kind of sort of starting to maybe like this character, and you killed her off, but something inside me told me that she's not dead, because why would she be? They focused on her so heavily, she's probably going to be the main character of the show called Ahsoka. I wonder if they just wanted to use Ahsoka's name for this new character because they knew that the new character's name, if she even is a new character, because I don't know who she is or who she's supposed to be, just to draw people in, you know? Oh, look at that, she's better again. I don't know much about Star Wars, but I always figured that lightsabers, if they enter you, that's like instant death or something. But damn, the ass. Jesus. Like, is it the suit? What squats is she doing? See, that's the kind of definition I want. Even this sexy alien that looks like she has freaking Kermit's legs wearing shorts on the back of her freaking head is more interesting than the actual main character. Why do they keep doing this? Also, I know it's this type of show, but I find things to be eerily convenient to the point where it's just beyond ridiculous. For example, this girl, apparently Sabine, worked under or trained under Ahsoka. Weirdly enough, this character looks like the female version of Ezra Miller. And apparently she has a brother character who died off screen, whose name is Ezra. Very coincidental. When Ahsoka shows up, her purpose is to unlock the key so she can find the map to these bad guys who are trying to find General Thrawn, their leader.
We don't have time for this Skyrim side quest bullshit.
The girl is wayward and stubborn, and Ahsoka knows this. It's not like this is a complete stranger to her. This was her student. And the girl, Sabine, asks if she could take the ball that looks like Doctor Strange symbol for their headquarters and take it away somewhere quiet so she can think, so she can unlock it. Now, knowing this woman, Ahsoka turns her back, which is a very nice back, by the way, I must say.
Sexy back.
And she leaves this woman in the room alone and then acts surprised. And she comes out and sees that Sabine is gone with the ball.
Oh no. Anyway, last week...
Of course, she unlocks it in the most simple way possible by matching up the images that are... What? I mean, are we to believe that the main character is this dumb that she couldn't figure this out or nobody could figure this out? This is weird. Feels like just a very simplistic reason to go and see this character and make them be reunited and lovey-dovey and whatnot. I guess Sabine is supposed to be the Grogu of this show. Look, I unlocked it. No, I get caught before I can find out any real information. Not like that matters, because we're gonna easily know where to go to find out information, because one of the droids that attacked the area are conveniently still waiting home, and it just so happens that it stored the information in its head. Also, the droids are very inconsistent in the show. When we first saw Ahsoka Tano, when she got the map or the key for the map, these droids needed to get it from her. That's what they were hired for. Yet when she runs away with it, they decide to self-destruct. That's a very cool shot right there, I must admit. I wonder if, as a consequence of them self-destructing,
I must self-destruct. Do not self-destruct.
If they were to destroy that little key item that their employer wanted them to get, that was extremely important. And holy shit, it just feels like overkill the self-destruction. I am really impressed because they didn't just self-destruct, they planet-wide destroyed everything. Look at this freaking shit. Look at this. It's like a tsunami of hellfire. Overkill much? I mean, if there's one way to make sure that you want someone to die, let's just kill the entire freaking city. And she still got away. In the end, Ahsoka's like, I don't want that little brat helping me. She already did enough. And she can handle herself in the most generic fights ever. Can't believe how she's more NPC than the actual NPCs in the show. I like this alien, not just because of the derriere thing, but because she's actually likable. I like the kitty. Sabine has a lot of growing to do. She's so recalcitrant that Ahsoka can't even be bothered with her. But you can tell she probably has mommy issues, and Ahsoka is just tired of it. She thinks Sabine isn't ready. She says Sabine will know when she's ready, and so will she. And we know that the main character is ready, and I say main character because let's be honest, the show is about Sabine, because she cut her hair. And at this point, anything she would have done after the freaking shit show she had on her head would have been better. So, instantly like it. I think it fits her face better. I think they made it vomit-inducing because it's supposed to be satisfying when she cuts it, and boy oh boy is it.
Satisfaction!
Much easier on the eyes, I must say. Like, red or purple, commit, but you can't have both. Anyway, it's supposed to be a touching moment, but it really isn't. Then they ride off into the sunset, and we're like, oh yay, she's with her thing. And you know, the only way I could see this working, I know it probably sounds disgusting, because Ahsoka in her own show is giving off major granny energy. I don't know why I'm getting that from it, but I just do. But if they become like an item, and there's that tension between them, and will they, won't they kind of thing like they do in the freaking shoujo anime, I can kind of see it becoming that because, you know, but they're both too alike. I'm gonna need at least Sabine to like lighten up a little bit, and she is a little bit lighter than Ahsoka, but still, if they want to have this romantic angle, I can see this being like a fan fiction version of that. Then I can kind of understand and forgive it for being generic. But I can say this with all certainty. It definitely doesn't have the wow, big dick energy that Mandalorian had when it first came onto the scene. Mandalorian went out with a whimper. This show, with its discount George Clooney, came in with one. It feels like no passion are put behind these shows and they're just pumping them out just for the sake of pumping them out. Is it the worst show out there? Of course not. I've seen way worse. But I gotta say, I know people might disagree with me, but compared to this show, the Book of Boba Fett was way better. Way more entertaining, had way more likable characters, and I know for Star Wars fans, I completely understand why they were just so over it. As someone who's completely new to this whole franchise and knows basically nothing about the characters, I was okay with it because how entertaining it was, even though I admit it was super stupid and contrived. Ahsoka pales in comparison to a dull roar. That's just my honest opinion. What do you guys think about it? Like I said, this was only the first 2 episodes. Someone else had the frickin' episodes on hand, so I was able to watch it in super speed. Otherwise, I think I would have been pulling my ears off my face. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Alteori. You ask, we answer.